everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another video. Something a little bit different on the channel here, my top 10 favorite Generation 1 Pokemon, which was viewer requested by my friend Jeremy on my latest live stream of Let's Go Pikachu, which I do every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I figure why not do some different stuff on the channel, you know, we'll do some top 10s, do some tier maker lists in the future, why not? We'll spice it up a little. So, the stipulation for this list was I could not choose the same Pokemon in an evolution line. For instance, if I chose Charizard, I couldn't choose Charmander. It's one or the other. So I had a bit of a difficult time putting together this list, and so I have a few honorable mentions to start in the beginning. So first and foremost, for honorable mentions, we have the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, just because I couldn't pick one, and I already had my top 10 list, so I couldn't put them in there, couldn't find a place for them, so all 3 of them are here together. For honorable mention number 4, really for the honorable mentions, there are a lot of water types, you'll see in a minute. So first and foremost, we have Poliwhirl, because of the Pokemon Adventures manga. That's really the only reason why I chose him. And I think isn't Poliwag and then Poliwhirl a part of Misty's team in the anime? I'm pretty sure. And overall, actually a pretty underrated water-type Pokemon, especially in Johto, because if you were able to trade it with the King's Rock, you could get Politoed, and then of course Poliwrath is one of the few fighting types early on in the series, so a viable choice either way. For the next honorable mention, we have Psyduck, which, again, another underrated water type once it evolves into Golduck. There's a lot of good water types in the Kanto region, particularly if you choose Squirtle, but then again, you have Gyarados, you have Lapras, you have, even Tentacruel is actually a pretty good water type. Starmie, of course, which people forget. Starmie is water psychic, which they could have made Psyduck, or not even Psyduck, maybe Golduck when it evolves, because I think Staryu is just a water type, and then once it evolves into Starmie, it gets the water psychic attribute. But Psyduck learns Confusion, so it's interesting why it isn't a psychic type. But the next water psychic type, Slowpoke. Again, for the same reason. Like I said, I like water type Pokemon. Maybe that's just why. But I like this derpy little fellow just because of how he looks as well. And also, a great attacker. So for the real top 10 list, we'll start with number 10. And that is Ryhorn, which you may be wondering, why the fuck Ryhorn? Well, the reason I picked Ryhorn was, believe it or not, it's the first Pokemon ever created. And an interesting type, it looks like a rhinoceros. You know, it's a rock ground type, which is pretty pathetic. But I do believe in Generation 4, when you evolve it into Rhyperior, it becomes a very good Pokemon. And definitely with the same type of attack bonus for Earthquake, is a strong attacker. You can teach it strength, although it's quad weak to a lot of things, such as water, grass. Is it quad weak to ice, or just one weakness to ice? One or the other. But had to pick Ryhorn just because it was the first Pokemon ever created. For number 9, we have Tauros. Now, Tauros I never use in Kanto just because it's impossible to catch it in the Safari Zone because it has a very low encounter rate, and then you can't catch it with the Safari Balls because, you know, you'll throw one ball and then it'll run away, which sucks. But in Johto, Tauros is easier to come by because you can find him in the route right above Olivine City, and I always pick Tauros in my Johto team. So, I don't know if it really works for this list, but just the fact that it is a Kanto-specific Pokemon, I'm putting him there, despite the fact that I only use him in Johto, because he's impossible to catch in Kanto, in my opinion. Because you run into him, like I said, try throwing a Safari Ball at him, and then he runs away. Then I chose Growlithe. Really, Growlithe and Arcanine. The thing with Growlithe is, you catch this guy really early on, it's a Fire type. I love Fire type Pokemon. I've mentioned in the past that, I always pick the Fire starter in any team I go, so you can probably guess who number 1 is already just by saying that. But this guy learns a lot of moves early on. You can evolve him as soon as you get a Firestone into Arcanine. I think once you evolve him, pretty soon he learns Extreme Speed, which always strikes first. And overall, great Pokemon right there. Then I have the Kang himself, Snorlax, which always a member of my party whenever I play through Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Even right now, if Let's Go Pikachu, I just caught him in the last stream, and Snorlax is just a tank, can take a lot of hits, deals a lot of damage. I think it's pretty slow, but it gets the job done. You can use Rest, teach Strength to him. I think it learns a lot of special moves, although the special attack isn't necessarily that high, but overall, a great Pokemon to have on your team to take a lot of damage. Then I have Lapras, the water ice type. Again, reasons for picking this more so to do with the anime, because I love the little bit we saw of Lapras in the anime with the Orange Islands, and how that was just like a filler arc, and Lapras was the transport for the whole arc there, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the whole dynamic, and overall, great typing with Water Psychic. You get it in Silphco. I think at level 25, but still, a tank takes a lot of hits, a lot of HP. Again, use Ice Beam. You can use this guy to pretty much sweep Lance in the Elite Four. But I really like Lapras for the anime and the Orange Islands. Next up is Magikarp, the dark horse of the list here. That's just because the fact that Magikarp is so useless. Learns Splash is the only move it has until level 15 when it learns Tackle, and even then, if before in the olden days, you had to swap it out all the time, like no EXP share or anything like that. And then even when it learns Tackle, it does no damage. But then once it evolves at level 20 into Gyarados, it is an absolute beast. And therefore, Magikarp is a pretty underrated Pokemon. Especially in the olden days, if you bought it right outside Mount Moon and then had to switch it out in red and blue or yellow. Next up is Pikachu, just because of how iconic it is. Very powerful Pokemon in terms of special attack, with learning Thunderbolt pretty early. It's Ash's Pokemon. It's essentially the Pokemon mascot. So how can you not pick Pikachu? Next up is Mewtwo. Again, Mewtwo is just a boss. Like, as a kid going into Cerulean Cave, battling Mewtwo at level 70, it's like, what the hell am I getting into? If you didn't save the Master Ball for this guy, you were pretty much screwed. And plus, he was hard to capture because he knew Recover. He used Psychic. Back in the day when it was just special, not special attack and special defense, this guy was an absolute beast. And another iconic Pokemon for all the appearances in the movies and the anime and that whole thing. Next up, we have Evie. Just because of the fact that, look how cute he is. And also, because Evie evolves into whatever you want. I mean, if we're talking just Kanto, you got Flareon, you got Vaporeon, Jolteon, you expand, you get Umbreon and Espeon, then you got Glaceon and Leafeon, and who the hell knows? There's probably even more evolutions that I don't know about past Generation 4. But I always used Jolteon when I got Eevee back in the day. Sometimes use Vaporeon. I never used Flareon for reasons you'll see in a minute. Then in Johto, I always tried to get an Espeon or an Umbreon. And honestly, I like both of them. I mean, they're both really good. Espeon's better for attacking. Umbreon's better for defense and using like Toxic and taking hits and stuff. But overall, I love Eevee and just the versatility you have of being able to get whatever type you want out of it. And of course, number one, which was probably pretty predictable, but here it is, Charizard. Just because back in the day, the first Pokemon I took, Charmander, I always loved fire types. It's a tie, though, between my favorite Pokemon of all time, between Charizard and Typhlosion. Just because I tend to go back to Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver more than the old games. And just for this list, Gen 1, have to go Charizard, the GOAT, the classic, and that's just the way it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this list. Let me know your top 10 favorite Pokemon down below. And if you'd like to see more of these lists, let me know what you'd like to see in the comments down below. If you'd like to see like a tier maker list, I know we joked in the live stream about like a tier maker ranking the Final Fantasy waifus. Maybe I'll just do like a top 10 Final Fantasy waifus. Who knows? But please let me know what you'd like to see in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Also, let me know your top 10s down below. Have a great day, everybody.